have been following the story of this Khalid al-Asari, is I guess al-Dasari, however you say his name. This wannabe terrorist, a student from Saudi Arabia that came over, and we're told that he ordered some chemicals from a chemical company and a red flag went up, so they didn't ship them out. I even saw an article out there saying that, hey, this wasn't as lucky of a catch as we originally thought it was, because as it turns out, yes, the chemical company notified the FBI, but they were already aware, the FBI was already aware of this guy before the chemical company ever tipped them off. Now that's true, but there's a reason for that. As it turns out, the chemical company should have never shipped out the chemicals by their own policy, but they did. It was Conway Freight, to which the chemicals were shipped, who decided they wouldn't deliver them. Why did they decide not to deliver them? But more importantly, why is the press not covering this story the way it actually happened? There's a very simple reason for that. These chemicals were shipped to Conway Freight, and Conway Freight got a phone call. I would like to pick up my chemicals now. Tip off. Racial profiling. See, the press would rather that you think that this chemical company just said, no, let's check into this before we ship these out. That's not how it happened. Those chemicals made it all the way down to Texas, and the chemical company had already shipped a couple shipments of acid to this guy that he picked up at FedEx Kinko's. So he was sure he had a good system going here. It was going to work out for him. He had the chemicals shipped to Conway Freight. He called up Conway Freight. He wanted to come pick up these chemicals, and Conway Freight said, wait a second. Could this be a radical Islamic terrorist? He's a Muslim. He has a Middle Eastern accent, and he's calling wanting to pick up canisters of phenol. Red flag goes off right there. This really irritates me because the press is working their point of view into this story rather than telling you the way that it actually happened. I feel a Jack Nicholson rant coming on, for crying out loud. I mean, this popped up after September 11th. All these people coming out saying, we just want the truth. We just want answers. We got the 9/11 truthers, right? We want answers. You want answers? You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. Because we live in a country with roads. And these roads have to be guarded by men who drive trucks. Who's going to do that? Liberals? You? Al Gore? We truckers out here have a greater responsibility than you could possibly fathom. You weep for the innocent Muslims and you curse the trucking company that profiled this guy. Well, you have that luxury because you don't know what I know. That racial profiling, while politically incorrect, saves lives. And our continued profiling, while grotesque and incomprehensible to you, will continue to save lives. You don't want the truth because in places deep down that you don't like to talk about at your little liberal parties, you want me on that road. You need me on that road. We use words like Islamic radicalists and jihad. We use them to define what we must defend against out here on the road. You use them as a punchline in a Tea Party joke. I have neither the time nor the inclination to defend myself to liberals who rise and sleep under the very blanket of safety that I provide and then question the manner in which I do it. I just wish you would say thank you very much and go on your way. But if you can't do that, I suggest you get your ass in a truck and hook up to a hazmat load. Maybe then, when it's your ass on the line, you might understand why we do what we do. Either way, I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to. This trucking company did the job that we needed them to do. Did they profile that Muslim? You're goddamn right they did. But good luck getting that story out of the press. This is precisely why I started truckersnews.us. So the drivers can get their own story out. If I had this idea 2 years ago, and this idea had taken off, these people that work at Conway Freight would have the angle to come out there and tell their story and get it enough publicity and enough attention that this way, you'd already know the story. You wouldn't have to be hearing it from me. But the press wants to cover it up because it was racial profiling that saved the day. Folks, I'm not asking you to have some blatant Islamophobic boil festering on your arm and dripping little Islamophobic pus down your hands. Come on, but you gotta have a little bit of common sense in you. You have to look around. You have to understand the threat. You have to know where it's coming from. We never do this in the press. If a car guns down a kid in a crosswalk, we don't say, it was a sports car. Keep your eye out for a sports car with damage on the front. Because we don't want to offend red Corvettes, right? No, we give a full description. It was a late model red Corvette. Damage to the right front fender from hitting this kid in the crosswalk. First letters of the license plate, XYZ. If you see a car that fits this description, phone it in. But when it comes to terrorism, we can't do that. We just have to say, well, some guy. No, let's put the truth out there. Folks, truck drivers especially, you know the deal. We have training programs for this. This is why Conway Freight picked it up, because we're not politically correct. We alert our industry and say, these are the people that are looking to take advantage of you. You got a hazmat load, you see this type of activity going on around you, and no, it's not all Islamic terrorists. It's not all Middle Eastern men. We're looking out for all dangers, but we're aware of what they are. We're aware of where the threat is most likely to come from. And we don't mind saying so. Maybe you have the luxury in your liberal life of pretending that the threat doesn't exist or acting like you don't know where it's coming from. But when the rubber meets the road, you want us on that road. You need us on that road to protect you from your own liberal stupidity.